Good morning, Israel. Good morning, Israel. Good morning, believers. It's your brother JD Nijah, Israelite Bible teaching. For truth seekers. We're in the thick of some funky weather here in California. It's just been, we're getting ready to have a tropical storm come up the coast. It's been super hot, super miserable, really uncomfortable. Huntington Beach is usually in the mid 70s to upper 70s this time of year. Sometimes it'll squeak up to 83, 84 this time of year for a few days, but then it drops right back down. We've had 95, 96 for days on end. It got up to, I think, 99 in Huntington Beach. Unheard of. So, these weather modifiers, these guys are, it's our turn to get some pain, so this is how they do it. And so it's weird because it's not just the heat and the moisture. It's there's some kind of oppression that's going on behind it. You can tell it's not normal. If any of you have had the C19, you know what I'm talking about. It's odd. It's not right. It feels against nature, and it feels very, the only way to say it is demonic. It feels demonic. I don't like to use those words demonic and satanic, and because basically this whole fallen, when they talk of fallen angels, the fallen is the fallen state we're all in. We're in this place of judgment. But anyhow, that being said, I wanted to talk about the corruption in the system that we have. And I could tell you all the times that I've been mistreated by the justice system that has no justice. That's why it's such a joke. These people, the words they use, it's usually the opposite of what it actually is. Don't mind the hair and the beard. I'm kind of having a hard time getting motivated to do much of anything. It's hot, it's miserable. Look at him. It's 7:41 in Huntington Beach, and it's let me see how hot it is in here. It's 82 degrees outside. It's never like this. But anyhow, if any of you want to listen to a really good channel, Lucky Haskins, he's been going over this subject of the corruption of our police and justice system. And see, we think that there's bad people running the streets, but some of the worst people are driving around in those black and white cars that are supposed to be helping us. And Lucky Haskins, Lucky space Haskins. I think it's all small caps. Haskins. He's pretty funny. He's pretty eloquent. A lot like me. Doesn't really care how he comes off. Appearance wise. But he does wear glasses, so he's kind of cool. He's a rock and roll guy. But anyway, old Lucky Haskins is talking about his experiences with the Dearborn, Michigan Police Department, and it's a well done story. If you like stories, true crime stories, his story turns out pretty good for him because his father was actually a high-ranking officer in a bordering county. So the things that he went through without his father's help, he was trying to handle it himself at a young age. I think he said he was 19, and his neighbor was harassing him about playing music, and they kept writing him up for disturbing the peace, and he was lied on by his neighbor. He was lied on by the police. He was lied on by his own attorney. And the story he told, I think maybe that's why I've been feeling really uneasy, because he went into this a few days ago. They call it occupational immunity. And one of the biggest problems we have in this society is these guys are going around lying and hurting people that are actually good people with the help of evil women, with the help of men that act like evil women, you know, like female dogs. And the police love these people because they create revenue for them. And so the wickedness of people on the street, wicked women, men that act like wicked women, these female dogs, they bunch together with this justice system, and they're pretty predictable. They'll go after the good person, and the dirtbag, douchebag, punk prick gets to laugh. And that's kind of what the Edomites did to the Israelites. That is what they did. When Jerusalem was sacked, the Edomites were standing back and laughing and didn't help. They're actually Israel's brothers, Edom. You know, Esau and Jacob, they were brothers, but Esau was one of these lying pricks, you know, one of these female dogs. And most of their men were actually just female dogs. And so it's not so much that that they can't be better, and I'm sure there's some that were just like me. I'm not out to hurt anyone. But you know how many people have been out to hurt me? People that were supposed to be my friends, people that were supposed to be my wives, my companion, my helpmate. So, you know, in Proverbs, I'm just going to go into it a little bit. There's a difference between a female dog and a true virtuous woman. And Proverbs goes into that. And for any of you men that are listening to this that are still thinking that you could trust a woman, be very careful. They will do things to you that if you want to talk about fallen angels or demons or Satan, that's satanic. That's when you're coupling up or buddying up or companioning with this law enforcement, quote, law enforcement system, you are creating a demonic whirlwind against someone that you're going to have to pay for. Women, you female dogs. So let's, instead of talking, we know all the scriptures about these female dogs. There's a bunch of them. Solomon dealt with 700 wives and 300 concubines. 73. My favorite psalm, 7:3. 700 wives, 300 concubines. So when I say Solomon was my brother and is my brother, these are some of the clues that when the Lord told me we're changing your name to Adonijah, and I went, Adonijah, who's that? And I looked it up, and he's the one that tried to usurp the kingdom from Solomon. So part of my punishment has been through my brother's sin. He buddied up with a lot of these different nations, and for him, he had control over them, but they actually turned his heart to some of their gods and things like that. He turned away from the Lord. So before I go any further, I'm going to pray. Heavenly Father, bless this message. Bless the ears that hear us. Give us protections against these types of people. Give us eyes to see. Give us a heart that doesn't give up, even through all kinds of evil and mischief brought on by these dirty, sinful, wicked, lying spirits that are indwelling these people that have no knowledge of you and have no Holy Spirit. We love you. We praise you. We look forward to your coming. We long for your Son to come put these people where they need to be and to let our eyes see it. Amen. So instead of going into the scriptures about it's better to deal on the edge of a rooftop than to deal with a contentious woman, and other scriptures like there's nothing as evil and wicked as the evil and wickedness of a woman. We're going to look at what a good woman looks like. And that there's only a few scriptures, and then I'm going to go to Psalms, and we're going to talk about the men, the female dogs, the ones that act like women, wicked women. They're men that act like wicked women. So I'm in Proverbs 31. The price of a virtuous woman. How much does it cost to find a virtuous woman? What's the chances? Well, in the wisdom books, and see, I'm probably going to start going into the wisdom books because I'm tired of all this arguing about the Gentiles and the house of David and the flat earth and regeneration. It's like, that's 101. It's getting boring, man. It's getting redundant. And if no one's going to get it, I'm not going to waste my voice on it. Either you're going to understand it and you're going to move forward, or you're going to get lost. And when the Lord goes, why couldn't you hear my spirit, my servant speaking to you? What happened to you? You were right there listening, but you didn't believe on my word. It's going to be a lot of hurt, shameful people in the last days that should have looked into these things a little closer, like I have. I'm at 1:44, 14 minutes and 40 seconds. Yeah. 14 minutes and 40 seconds. When I turned that phone around, it was 1:44. That's the number of the 144,000 elect men, which I'm one of. No boasting, just a fact. All right, the price of a virtuous woman. Oh, what did Solomon say? Out of 1,000 men, he found one righteous man out of 1,000. Out of 1,000 female dogs, he said it. See, the wisdom books is where we actually learn how to behave. And it follows along with the laws, statutes, and commandments that how we're supposed to treat each other. And so when you see these punk pricks that drive around in these black and white cars and harass good, righteous people, hardworking people, loving people, these are some of the demons that you can't miss. You don't have to have a lot of discernment. They're right there in your face. The question is, are you on their side? Or are you not on their side? They may help you in certain situations. They may. But for the most part, people call the police and go to jail all the time. The person that called the police goes to jail. Yeah. The price of a virtuous woman. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. I wish I would have got into the wisdom books at a younger age. I would have saved myself a lot of heartache, heartbreak. I wouldn't be in this sick position I'm in right now. I wouldn't be ill. I'm extremely ill. And I hate to speak that on myself, but I'm being honest. I'm traumatized beyond what a normal person, I mean, what's happened is I've been able to come through this stuff, and now here I am at 60, going to turn 61 next month, and I've it's weighing on me heavily. How wicked and evil people can be by claiming to be your friend, by saying they love you, and then showing such a hateful, ridiculously mean spirit. It's heartbreaking. And then to have nobody understand, nobody stand up for what's right. And that's why David had his mighty men, because these guys, they weren't gonna let anybody do anything that wasn't righteous, and they stood by David no matter what, because he was a righteous man doing the will of God. But anyway, a virtuous woman, the heart of her husband does safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. Let me read that again. The heart of her husband does safely trust in her. California here, you can't trust not one. Like Solomon said, out of 1,000, he found 0. So out of 8 million in California, probably 0. So men, know that if you're going to get involved, you're going to deal with one of these female dogs. You're either going to have to bow to her every whim and every calling, or you're going to end up having her turn and rend you and bite your friggin' leg off. Because that's what they do. They're ravenous. They want what they want, and the guys in the black and white cars, they back them up. See, that's one of our biggest problems in our society is we have people fighting for wickedness, standing up for evil, creating hatred and division, out of order, misorder, disorder. That's why everyone has disorders. Narcissistic disorder, antisocial disorder. All these cluster B behaviors that we see in people. This, I'm lost for words because this is the trauma. I have a hard time even speaking of these cluster B disorders anymore because it's basically everywhere. You don't even need to name it. It's called lying wickedness, and it's rampant. There's no cure for it. And so that's why the Lord needs to come back. It's getting to the point now where his saints like myself are so worn down by what we see out here and what we know. So it says he trusts in her so that he shall have no need of spoil. And need of spoil is lack of gain. So see, what's happened to me is I worked really hard my whole life. I didn't bow to anyone. I didn't get in with the city. I didn't get in with the state. The Lord said, that's not where you belong, J.D. Niger. You don't partner up with your enemy. And so I served the city, but I served it as almost like a volunteer because the pay is so little and the oppression so intense. When you're a seasonal worker, you get to give a lot, but you don't get a lot. So I learned how to give, and that's part of my nature. I'm a helper. I'm a giver. I'm a servant. But these people that I partnered up with, these female dogs, they played the game with me to a certain extent, and had children with me, bought houses with me, and then snatched it all away by disliking my goodness. The goodness, after a while, it becomes hard for someone to be around that all the time because their wickedness, it disrupts their continence, their feelings inside. They feel a certain way towards you because they see something that they know they can never be because they're not that, and so they decide to turn on you and see what kind of evil you'll do. And luckily, I never completely acted on that because I would definitely be in that justice system in a way that would not have been beneficial to my ministry or to myself. So I'm on a thin line right now. I'm trying to be good to people and to myself, mostly to myself and to God. And this ability to find a helper here, a woman, a virtuous woman, not a female dog. That's been something that's been weighing on me heavily. Is that I'm gonna just have to suffer through and keep my distance because it's too dangerous. And I'm not really all that interested in even trying anymore. You know, I would love to have a virtuous woman that was compatible with me, but the chance of that is pretty low. So anyway, I just wanted to go into a little bit about that. I'll be back. I just wanted to read this real quick. The ungodly man's fear of the Lord. The tongue deviseth mischief like a sharp razor working deceitfully. Thou lovest evil more than good, and lying rather than to speak righteous. Thou lovest all devouring words, you deceitful tongue. God shall likewise destroy you forever. He shall take thee away and pluck thee out of thy dwelling place and root thee out of the land of the living. That's what you female dogs and you men that are acting like female dogs. That's what you're going to get, you lying pricks. JD Nige, I'm out.